the frame last lap.
There's the sprint. There's our leader. 17 years old.
He can.
What was your name?
Ben Allenbach.
Ben Allenbach. How old are you?
18.
Okay, we had it wrong. He's 18. Sorry about that. We said he was 17. How many teammates did you have in the field tonight?
Absolutely none.
Thanks for coming out for Tour de Bloom.
Opening day here at Tour de Bloom. Looks like Pro Women up first with 58 miles on tap. 2 laps of the Waterville Road Race circuit. They'll go back through this line a couple times for the intermediate point sprints. There are also QOM points on those intermediate laps, and then finishing up back on the same line today. Relatively flat day, all things considered. It's going to be a day of rollers. I think the big question today will be wind out there. We're going to see if we can get Rebecca Rees on the line. She's going to be around the venue today and see if we can get some info on current course conditions out there in Wenatchee. So just about 5 minutes away from our scheduled start for, again, Pro Women on tap. You see the Fount Cycling Guild lined up on the front. They're going to be your hometown team this weekend, and certainly one to watch after a great performance over the last couple weeks. Both Redlands and Gila had great results there, but there's some big names on this starting list. I'm going to start with last week's winner, Lauren Stevens, over at Tour de Gila, back with the Aegis mixed cycling team. She brings most of the team that she had at Redlands with her, including Frankie Hall, the stage winner on that final day up to Pinos Altos at Gila. So super strong team for the Aegis cycling mixed team. Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028 also on this list. They're going to be a big one to watch out there. They brought a stacked roster with Marlais Mejia, Sofia Ariola, Riley McMullen, Bethany Ingram, Emily Ehrlich, and Anna Hicks. That'll be an absolute hit squad on the climbs. We'll keep an eye on those blue jerseys. Competitive Edge Racing also back. They got a stage win last week at Tour de Gila. It's going to be interesting to watch them as they hunt their goals this week. A lot of strong teams coming to this start line, so we'll get to see if we can listen in on their final instructions. Look like they're inching to get forward here. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to hear final instructions from their chief comm. See Team S&M, that'll be another local favorite squad out of the Pacific Northwest. They really upped the level of teams racing at this year's Tour de Bloom. S&M brings Brenna Rice Simpson, Kara O'Neill, Kim Lucci, Grace Nottingham, and Kaya Musgrave. That'll be a good little 5-rider squad as well. Keep an eye on them. I think this camera is going to go get on a motorcycle, and we're going to see if we can follow these riders out. Again, sort of 2 loops. They call it the town loop and the country loop. There's a shorter loop that compromises each lap, and then they go out and do a larger loop, which they call the country loops. They do go back through that line after each town loop. Those look like final instructions right there. Looks like they are clearing this course, getting ready to roll with 2 minutes to scheduled race start. Talk about some more teams on the start list here as we await the start. Good to see TAG Women's Cycling back. They were second place last week at Tour de Gila with Sydney Swaranga not racing this week, but TAG does bring a 5-rider roster, including Amai Irvin Abrambari, Marley Beckett, Vanessa Monrichard, Rachel Canning, and Lauren Friedman on their roster today. Pato Bike going to stick around for a little more racing. They've been pretty consistent near the front of the past few weeks of domestic road racing, with Lorena Villamizar, I think, going to lead that squad. She's got 3 teammates with her. This all gets shaken out on stage 1, and we'll see who takes the early GC lead in about 58 miles from now. Again, they will be looking at the first sprint and QOM points after the first lap of racing. So basically 2 laps around this circuit. And first time through, they're looking at points. Second time as well, double points on the finish lap. But I guess that means that whoever wins QOM is also going to win sprint on this first day. And looks like we're off and rolling. Fount going to stick near the front. All hands on deck up there for the beginning of this one. They've been an incredible story to watch under the direction of Jen Wheeler. Saw Leah Shafi winning Redlands just a couple weeks ago. Didn't quite have the result they wanted at Gila, but I have a feeling Shafi going to be looking for some action this week. They also bring Alexi Snover, Elizabeth Dixon, Andrea Sear, and Minori Minagawa. Minagawa got a podium last week at stage 4 of Tour of the Gila as well. So Fount been racking up the results. We'll see if they can do the same this week. There's the other powerhouse team up to the front already. That is Virginia's Blue Ridge with, I think, Emily Ehrlich moving up the left side of the field. They're going to keep a presence near the front in support of, I'm going to guess, is Marleis Mejias, wearing number 1 on her back. But got a few riders that could be GC contenders, including Emily Ehrlich. Looks like Ehrlich going to patrol the front early on here with Fount. There's a good look at that VBR train already locked in with 57 miles, let's call it, of racing to go. Look a little further back, see else. Looks like LA Sweat got some jerseys up there. Saw some good rides from Regina Doty over the past couple weeks. LA Sweat brings Doty along with Michelle Schaefer, Josephine Pelukin, and Julie Kaliza. Guess looks like they're going to neutralize them here. Maybe they've been neutral. would say that's why they neutralized. All right, back to clean roads. Nice job by the officials there, making sure everyone was aware of the tractor on the road, got through safely. Fount going to get right back to work up front. These riders hanging out at the back, you can kind of get a look at the rolling nature of this course right here. You see they're just cresting a roller right now. They're working their way back down. That's pretty much what most of the course looks like. There's a lot of just gentle ups and downs. Long road ahead for these riders. Not seeing a ton of wind on National Weather Service current conditions here. I'm going to see if I can get word from anyone on the ground as to what those conditions might be like. Not really seeing any echelons or anything like that, so can't be too terrible of wind conditions. Nice, look at that. A little flyover action. Not a bad way to watch the race. Looks like most of these riders happy to be at the back of the group. No real panic yet. You can see them all spread out across the road. Fount and VBR up at the front have not really hit that gas pedal yet. This will string out once they start going hard. For now, good place to hang out and save some energy here. This is the danger you run into. You see these riders playing this yo-yo game on the back. Well, it may seem easier. Once that acceleration starts, that's where you really get in trouble hanging out at the back here. So early on here should be fine, but if they start attacking these hills, then they're going to have a problem. You can see the daunting hill up in front of them. Looks like a little bit of picture breakup here. Take a look at last year for a little bit. Back to live images. Again, apologies for picture breakup here. We'll see if we can get that back. There we go. Saw a few riders starting with arm warmers and some jackets on. Brisk 56 degrees at the start today. It is expected to get a little warmer here, but not too hot that it's going to cause any problems for the field here. Anticipated high for the day at 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And really, for a lot of these riders, unless you're going after those precious bonus seconds, which I have a feeling is going to determine the GC situation after the day today, really just about staying out of trouble, staying fresh. They go into Criterium tomorrow. That'll be a pretty easy day, all things considered. And then some big road racing starting on Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday, including an individual time trial. I'm sure there'll be a few riders really targeting that one. That's where a majority of this GC is going to be decided on the ITT. Be a few opportunities for, I guess, mountaintop finishes, maybe the way to put it, or at least gaps in the GC caused by the climbing. But a lot of times these come down to bonuses and TTs in this sort of American style of stage racing, just like Redlands, just like Gila. It makes it interesting. Certainly makes it more of a team effort. We watched, for example, at Redlands, Fount on point all week defending for Alexi Snover in red. A lot of that came down to time bonuses, chasing gaps, things like that. So almost makes it a little more interesting to watch when you've got gaps that close. Looks like one rider jumping off the front here. All right, checking in with some action up here. We'll see if we can ID this. Might be a red truck jersey. Let's see if we can get a little closer here. Not taking anyone with her. Certainly going to want some help in this scenario. Probably a little early. Now heads start popping up here, taking a look up the road as they start to see that red jersey disappear off in the distance. This is going to change the race scenario here, too. This is a bad time to be hanging out at the back. This is the point in the race where you're going to pay more hanging out here at the back than whatever you would have saved early on. You already see these riders having to start chasing down gaps out of the saddle. This is a dangerous point where you really start burning matches that you really don't need to. Riders already having a chase back on. We're looking at Kelly Brennan, 94, about to regain contact here. But she paid the price on the way up. Few of, I think there was a Pato Bike jersey back there. Not on my start list, though. See if I can get some updated info. Back to the front. Let's see if we can find our lone rider here. Nope. regrouping, slow back down, back to spread out across the road. This would be the time to get forward. If you were hanging out the back earlier, you just saw what happens and when you pay the price of that elastic starting to stretch out. See a few riders, looks like looking for some lanes up the outside. If you take an opportunity here to pick up 10 or 15 spots, or if you have an opportunity, I think you got to take it here. So look for a little washing machine effect from the back. This one is it's going to be a lot of hot and cold out there in this field. It's not going to get any better today. So there's a price to pay for enjoying the big draft at the back early on here. Just the nature of riding these rollers. Looks like Pato Bike must have been coming back from service. That's Urelias Vedo. And I think we're back to last year's footage. We'll take a break here.
Look at this field of Pro 1-2 ladies. This is the biggest and the best 1-2-3 field we've ever had. Thank you for traveling from all over to this race.
We have racers in this field from as far away as Sacramento, San Francisco. We have them from Montana. They are coming from all over the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest to race here at the Tour de Bloom. They're coming down the cobblestones of Orondo into the corner.
Coming in hot.
Bumping, barging, and the preem last lap.
There's the sprint. There's our leader. 17 years old.
He can.
What was your name?
Ben Ellenbach.
Ben Allenbaugh. How old are you?
18.
Okay, we had it wrong. He's 18. Sorry about that. We said he was 17. How many teammates did you have in the field tonight?
Absolutely none.
Thanks for coming out for Tour de Bloom.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be close. What's it gonna be? Rider 188, no one for Yeah, buddy.
Dad bod!
Oh yeah!
Yeah, baby!
None other than Vincent Marcotte
the field tonight. It was fast. You guys were super smooth. You put on a heck of a good show. What was your idea and your process going into those last couple of laps?
I just wanted to get in good position and then ride the red truck train because I knew they had a lot of girls out there. So I just hopped on and did what I could.
You guys put on a heck of a show. You're the champion. You got the belt buckle. And we're so proud to have you here. Good luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hi, there's already a celebration going on. Zips up. Oh, stage 2. I got a belt buckle.
Here we go, gentlemen. One lap, final lap.
Eats meal, and he just drove it so hard, nobody could come around. So, but yeah, the boys just stayed off front the whole time and gave me a chance to rest. It was awesome.
You are our Saturday night crew. You guys come here and kick butt and put on a show every single year. We appreciate it. Congratulations and thanks for coming out to Tour de Bloom.
Welcome back. Live images out at the back of our UCI women's group. Did have one rider away last time we saw live pictures. Then we're going to see if we can check in back at the front and get the status of the race there. Didn't see anyone going with that solo rider, so it's either going to be a brilliant ride or a short-lived move to try to get off the front. Good look off in the distance here off to the right side. I don't think I see anyone, so I'm going to guess we're all back together here. Back to our look at the front. Not seeing a real organized chase here, so this looks like back to what I think is Fountain, Virginia's Blue Ridge on the front. Regulator going to signal the left turn here. That might have been our last look at that group. All right, so we'll check back in with them when live images return.
Look at this field of Pro 1-2 ladies. This is the biggest and the best 1-2-3 field we've ever had. Thank you for traveling from all over to this race.
We have racers in this field from as far away as Sacramento, San Francisco. We have them from Montana. They are coming from all over the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest to race here at the Tour de Bloom. They're coming down the cobblestones of Orondo into the corner.
Coming in hot.
Bumping, barging, and the preem lap.
There's the sprint. There's our leader. 17 years old.
He can.
What was your name?
Ben Ellenbach,
Ben Allenbaugh. How old are you?
18.
Okay, we had it wrong. He's 18. Sorry about that. We said he was 17. How many teammates did you have in the field tonight?
Absolutely none.
Thanks for coming out for Tour de Bloom.
Really gonna make it stick. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be close. What's it gonna be? Rider 188, no one for
Yeah, buddy.
Dad bod!
Oh yeah!
baby!
None other than Vincent Marcotte.
The field tonight, it was fast. You guys were super smooth. You put on a heck of a good show. What was your idea and your process going into those last couple of laps?
I just wanted to get in good position and then ride the red truck train because I knew they had a lot of girls out there. So I just hopped on and did what I could.
You guys put on a heck of a show. You're the champion. You got the belt buckle, and we're so proud to have you here. Good luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hi, there's already a celebration going on. Zips up. Oh, stage 2. I got a belt buckle.
Here we go, gentlemen. One lap, final lap.
Eats meal, and he just drove it so hard nobody can come around. So, but yeah, the boys just stayed off front the whole time and gave me a chance to rest. It was awesome.
You are our Saturday night crew. You guys come here and kick butt and put on a show every single year. We appreciate it. Congratulations and thanks for coming out to Tour de Bloom.
There's our photo. Come on, people, this is it. Final lap, final stretch. They come around the corner. No holds barred.
Look at this field of Pro 1-2 ladies. This is the biggest and the best 1-2-3 field we've ever had. Thank you for traveling from all over to this race.
We have racers in this field from as far away as Sacramento, San Francisco. We have them from
Back out to live images. That is the front of your UCI women's field, just off in the distance. We're going to make this turn and see if we can catch back up with them. Group still all together here. And we did have one rider away earlier who appears to have gone back into the group. really interested in seeing here are the teams on the front. Not sure if we'll get close enough to see them on this stretch of road. Here's a good view from the back. Things really starting to file out now. Big efforts at the back right here. They're going to get a little respite up here as they crest, but again, all these tiny withdrawals end up adding up as the week goes on. Groups spread out all across the road. Nobody really in charge here, not driving this tempo yet. Plenty of opportunity to get to the front. Got a nice lane up the left side there. This would be a good opportunity for somebody to jump away here as well, if they could take a few with them. Again, we are on tap for 58 miles of racing today, about 20 minutes, we'll say, into the racing. So still plenty of opportunities. A few riders going to move this use this opportunity, move up the left side here. Yeah, you see these riders swinging over the white line. That's the right thing to do right here. It's only going to get worse at the back of this race. See if we can bring in Rebecca Riza here in just a bit. I know she was at the start this morning. Got a chance to chat with some of the riders. Be interested to see what they said before the start here. The first time we've seen Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028 doing some road stage racing here. They raced a Tour of Newport News. A lot of their riders went to Pan Ams as well. So this is kind of their first big road race back together in a few weeks. See a CCB jersey back there as well. They bring an abbreviated group of 4 with Lily Sonneman, Georgia Bond, Catherine Rush, and Ella Brenneman. 4 strong young riders on that CCB squad. See if they can pull out a result today. That would be a team similar to like Comp Edge Racing I was talking about earlier. Very capable of winning stages. I don't know if they've got a GC climber that can challenge the likes of, let's say, Lauren Stevens or Marleis Mejias, but can certainly hunt stage wins this week. All right, looks like getting a little more picture breakup, so we'll take another break. back out on course. Looks like a little bit of single file riding going on up at the front. Somebody setting tempo up there. And a lot of riders going to try and get a piece of this. They're all trying to move up to the front now, sensing something's going on here. Not sure if we can zoom this camera in or not and get a look at the teams up there. I have a pretty good idea of who might be up there. Typically, the responsibility here going to fall to the biggest teams in this scenario. And we might lose them again here. Oh, there we go. Not sure what, must just be a feed zone that they're going through here. Nothing on the tech guide for any intermediate points, unless those are QOM points up there. There is one on the stage profile. It does not show up in the rest of the guide here. So let's assume that was QOM points. I'll see if I can get some results for that. We saw it from the back. And now working their way back up to the top here. Nothing scoring on live timing yet, so we'll do our best to bring you those results as they become available. Briefly seeing some glimpses of green up on the front. I think that is going to be Fount back up front here to take over. Here we go. We'll get a good look now. Yeah, a couple Fount jerseys up there. I think that's maybe a tag jersey, a little white and yellow. Obviously, a little bit of a head crosswind here. You see the shape of this field favoring the right-hand side of the road here. But not too terrible. Things pretty calm at the back. These riders just coasting along the downhill as well. Haven't seen a ton of service at the back of the group. Still early on in the race, though. They've only been underway for about 45 minutes. Nice little look at this winding descent. Great roads out here, extremely smooth. You can see beautiful blacktop on at least these early sections. Hardly any vibrations on the wheels on the way down. These look like awesome roads to ride. Big shout out to everybody watching at home, including my good friend Kathy Kim. I know Kathy wrapping up that DNA program, but always a cycling fan at heart, tuning in live. Big supporters of that Virginia's Blue Ridge squad as well. So welcome into Tour de Bloom. Automatic at the back, those orange jerseys. Always one to watch out there. I think we were looking at Emily Singleton. Back there wearing number 146. A little more of a scramble up the left side here. See, I see the Asia's riders at the back here straight chilling. Looking like a group ride with Kylie Hanel, Frankie Hall, and I think that's Catherine Sheridan back there. Pretty clear that they've been given the day off and comfortable riding back there. We got three riders together like that. No reason to panic. They'll be able to chase back up if something does happen at the front, but I have a feeling Lauren Stevens has told them, with this many powerful teams at the race, we're not going to need you until later on in the week, so you guys can chill out early on here. Interesting to watch this little ageist group. Looks like they decided it's time to go. Amazing how quickly it goes from a relaxed three-wide conversation to tucking in behind that wheel in front of you, close the gap, and then right back to work. I'm talking about these three riders on the left-hand side of your screen. And we are just about 20 kilometers into the stage today. Good opportunity to bring in Rebecca Riza, who is with us at the start today. She is on site in Washington this week. Going to be chatting with all of the riders throughout the week. Rebecca, are you on with me right now? Maybe not.
Rebecca Riza is with us at the start today. She is on site in Washington this week, chatting all the riders throughout the week. Rebecca, are you on with me?
Yes, can you hear me, Brad?
I can hear you. There's going to be a crazy...
Can you hear me?
We'll do our best.
Okay. I'm sorry. We had the little hiccups for this first day, but I think we're getting everything together in this first full live coverage of a 2.2 UCI stage race here in the United States. It's a huge opportunity for racing, as you know, here domestically, and a big thanks And shout out to Ace Bollinger and the rest of the racing staff here at the Tour de Bloom. It was a big effort, and we're so excited to bring everybody these photos and these images of seeing these incredible athletes race this first UCI edition of the Tour de Bloom.
Rebecca, any sense from the teams you chatted with at the start? Anyone we should be watching? I know you talked with Marlais Mejias. Is she going to be the rider to watch for Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028?
Yeah, so basically, and I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing you, so I hope I'm not speaking over you. But yes, we spoke with Marlais Mejias. She's, of course, coming off of an incredible first Pan American Track Championships where she got silver in the scratch race. She's starting to compete in track there along with Emily Ehrlich. At the Pan American Championships, but they skipped Gila because of that, because of the Pan Ams, and so she's expecting a sprint finish. She said they've got a really strong team here with Emily Ehrlich, Sofia Ariola, and others, and so it's exciting because this is the first time this season, as you know, that we're seeing Fount with Aaliyah Shafee and Jennifer Wheeler and Alexi Snovar. Elizabeth Dixon compete against 2028, and then of course Lauren Stevens' new Aegis Foundation cycling program composite team all go head to head this week here at Tour de Bloom. So we also spoke with Jennifer Wheeler from Fount. She's coming out of retirement, current national masters crit and road champion. She's won this stage before. She's won this race before overall for Fount Cycling Guild. She came out of retirement to wanted to race alongside Aaliyah. She's been coaching her from the beginning, and she wanted to have that last bit of advice and working with her while racing with her in the peloton. So it should be an exciting race. I'm really looking forward to how this is going to play out. We were expecting very strong winds today, but we were really lucky. It's totally calm at the start. It's a beautiful day. It's about like in the low 70s, I think, something like that. But a lot of riders were very relieved and thankful that the wind was calm this morning.
30K into a group still all together. I totally agree with your assessment here about the teams. I think Virginia's Blue Ridge and Fount going to be the two biggest teams at the front, but I would not count out Lauren Stevens in this scenario. She's going to be one of the few that can climb with the greats in this field, including Marlais Mejias. I would put on that list. Watching the way that Aaliyah Shafee climbed at Redlands, I think there are very few riders on this list that will be able to match the climbing on the most difficult parts of this course, the biggest climbs of the week. So I think that Aegis team is going to be another one to watch out for. Now, that does open the door to a dark horse rider that can come through, get some results, just kind of silently sitting in second or third on GC. There are a lot of good climbers in this race. A lot of this is going to come down to, though, can they get through these big teams? Because Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028, they know how to control a bike race. Fount with Jen Wheeler in the race, they know how to control a peloton. So it's going to be tough to get through those big teams if you are one of those smaller teams or a rider without a big team behind you.
Can they get through these big teams? They know how to control. It's Fount with Jen Wheeler in the race, they know how to control peloton. So it's going to be tough to get through those big teams.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm para todos los seguidores en español, perdón, estamos viendo ahorita ya recorrieron casi 30 kilómetros. Estuve hablando sobre los equipos de 2028, el nuevo equipo de Lauren Stevens, Aegis Cycling Foundation, que se llaman, y también el equipo de Fount Cycling Guild. Ellos ganaron el primer grande carrera de etapas del Redland Cycling Classic con Leah Shafi. Lograron el primer título de una carrera de etapa y está aquí corriendo esta primer edición del nivel UCI para las mujeres y también tenemos 2028 con Emily Ehrlich y también el cubana Marlis Mejías, que acaba de salió de Panamericanos, donde salieron con un plato silver en la pista, en la carrera de scratch, y también Emily Ehrlich logré 2 medallas de oro en la pista y después fueron a los campeonatos de ruta y salió con un segundo lugar en el podio con Emily Ehrlich. Entonces tenemos un grande semana de este nivel de carreras y estoy muy emocionado para ver qué va a salir de esta etapa. Hablamos con Marlis Mejías antes de la salida y ella estaba diciendo que siente bien, que está escrita sus objetivos esta semana, vamos a ver, pero viene con un buen, fuerte equipo, con Sofía Arriola, tienen pues obviamente Emily Ehrlich y otras que pues no fueron a Tour of Gila, entonces llegan aquí en Washington en el estado muy listo, listo para hacer esta carrera muy fuerte y ojalá que sale todo bien para ellos. Pero vamos a ver, estamos muy orgullosos también para tener Pato Bike de México con el colombiana Lorena Villamizar, que vimos que salió bien en el crono en Gila, en Silver City. Entonces vamos a tener una carrera muy fuerte, muy emocionado viendo estas ciclistas, estas atletas tan fuertes. Y también estamos felices que podemos traer esta transmisión en vivo a todos ustedes que están siguiendo de Latinoamérica y otras partes en Europa. So thank you, Brad. Just a quick update in Spanish so we can update our Spanish followers there.
Perfect. I love it. We are just completing what I think is the first country loop, and Rodder's heading out on that shorter town loop right now. So they did just go through downtown. Got a brief look at that start-finish line, and now they're going to do that shorter loop before returning back for the first lap. There are points and QOM points available on the line when they complete this loop. So when they make their way back into town, they will be sprinting both for green jersey and polka dot points here. So it's going to be some action here as they complete their first of the 2 circuits. Again, just finishing up the country loop and headed out to the town loop now, doing 2 total today. Still together up the front. I just got a little look as they made that left-hand turn. Looks like a few new teams starting to make their way up there. I saw some pink jerseys. That must be the Speed Block squad. Sending some riders up there. I have a feeling this is starting to heat up because of these points coming up in what I think is like 8 or 9K from now. They're starting to get into position here. Any teams that have a rider that's going to have a shot at one of those jerseys, well, that journey starts today. Starts right now as they start to make their way up towards the front. Got to be in it to win it, and that's the game being played right now. A little positioning here. Little opportunity, move up the left side here. Again, this really only applies if you've got a rider that is going to target these point competitions, whether it's a sprint or a QOM. The interesting part about this one is they're awarding both on the line here, so it's going to be sprinters and climbers going at it. I have a feeling the sprinters will get the best of this, so I guess if I'm a climber looking for QOM points, I'd probably just hold off for the intermediate QOM that's at the top of the hill here. That QOM on the course is only a Category 4, so not a huge climb. They just put it at the top of the hardest climb of the day here. There were points the first time they went through it. It's just at the top of the country loop, so about halfway through. Saw a couple flags out on the road that they went through. About 20 miles long for that country loop I was talking about. Women's intermediate time bonus today is a double. It's normally, I think, 3, 2, and 1. They're going to give out 6, 4, and 2 seconds to the first three across. So this will probably be the first GC gap that we see. Whoever takes these intermediate sprints also going to take the green jersey, also going to take the red jersey, because I don't think I see any big gaps before they get to the finish today. So we'll see who takes the first 6-second time bonus coming up here on the line. Beautiful rolling hills out here in Pacific Northwest. A great place to ride your bike. So again, you see the constant effort here up the left side. These are either reinforcements on their way up or riders just making their first appearance up front. Wouldn't be surprised to see a split start to go off the front here. This would be a good opportunity to try and give yourself a little advantage before you get into town here. Not seeing it yet, so this may just be a bunch gallop back through the start-finish. See some riders already taking the opportunity to grab some gels. Good chance to refuel here. They must have a center line rule here. I'm not sure why everyone seems to have shifted right of the center line now. They did have full use of the road earlier. We saw them all spread out across the road, but this must be because of the re-entry into town that they're going to enforce a center line rule here. So that means that basically rules of the road, they're supposed to stay to the right of that yellow center line here. And that's usually to allow traffic to go the other way. Also, unfortunately, makes the field longer. See some riders hanging out at the back, holding on to that. Megan Brinkmeyer for the Orion Racing mixed team, doing a nice job hanging in there. And maybe not. They're back out across the road here. A lot of times you'll see riders start to file over to the right ahead of a turn coming up. Maybe that was what the peloton's doing there. Brinkmeyer looking for a wheel to get on here. Got to be getting into the closing kilometers here. I am starting to see some signs on the side of the road, which I'm guessing are showing kilometers to go. I think that is Fount still up at the front. I see a couple of those dark green jerseys there. But there's a few teams coming out to play here early on. Fount having a fight to control this one. I think I see some orange jerseys in there. It might be Automatic. Trying to line some things up early here. They would be one of the more organized teams in this squad that would certainly know how to get a train going. Back to Brinkmeyer. Just trying to hold on to the back of this one. That must have been Virginia's Blue Ridge moving up to the front. I think that's them in the white helmets here. Fountain not having any of it. Aegis going to get up there too. Now that white jersey with the pink sleeves, and I think this is Pato Bike in the red coming up the very left side of the peloton, right-hand side of your screen here. So as expected, most of the big teams sending representatives up to the front here as they prepare to battle for first intermediate sprints, but more importantly, first time bonuses coming up here. Short-lived move up the left side there. They're going to shut that one down immediately. As Virginia's Blue Ridge 2024 regains control. You can see this field is really having to adjust to this change of tempo now. Look at this. A lot of riders going to be in trouble if they keep riding this way all week. The difference in speed between an uncontrolled field, that is when they're just riding out, and then when you see a big team get to the front and start to set tempo with a mission, with a purpose, like Virginia's Blue Ridge and Fount are doing on the front, that is a drastic change. There's a 3K marker they just went by there, so that gives us a good idea of where they are on course. 3K in. This is the point where Virginia's Blue Ridge can absolutely control the front of this field for the next 3K, and they can do it in a brutal fashion to anybody that's trying to hold on to the back here. Now, if they don't get any challenge, they don't need to draw those swords yet, but once these big teams go to the front and start controlling, it will drastically change the way that this race feels and looks on the road. And there are going to be a lot of victims of it. This is Kelly Brennan for the speed block. This is my Tyrone squad out of NorCal. Inside 2K now. A little bit of a downhill run here on the way into the finish. This one bottoms out and then goes back up a little bit. Not sure if we'll be able to show you a stage profile here, but it's lumpy in the finale, let's call it. It's going to be tough for a solo rider to stay away here. That downhill section not going to do them any favors, and then once they get onto this long uphill drag, that's going to be brutal for anyone trying to hold on to a gap in the last lap. Still fighting back here. And there's the 1K marker. Hopefully things will calm down and Brennan can get back in there, but they're not going to let up anytime soon. Still a K to go through the line here. Group still together at the front, no one away. As much action at the back as there is at the front, as Kelly Brennan continues to try to fight her way back in. Fortunately, she's trending the wrong way. They're going to put some cars in between her. We'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, should be working their way through the line here. Or they already did. I think that's the arch, so we'll see if we get some results from up at the front. Well, we can assume that the big teams kept some control there, so see if we can get some information from on the ground, how that sprint went.
Okay, Brad, I'm so sorry about that interruption there.
All right, we got Rebecca back. Just went through the first intermediate sprint. That is one lap down for these riders. Groups still all together. Rebecca, are you on site? Would you have any information on those intermediate sprints?
So we are having some little glitches here with the radio. So we're not getting an intermediate results. Our apologies for that. We will get that sorted out as soon as possible. But we are on the finish line. We're waiting for the first results of the first intermediate sprints of the 3 that we have on tap today. We have another one at the second finish line, or the second round, and then for the finish, and then we have, of course, 2 KOMs. So they've already finished 1 KOM. As soon as we get those results, we will let you all know. But yes, everything's pretty calm here at the finish, and you saw as they came through that for that first lap.
Looked like Virginia Blue Ridge and Fount controlling most of the front of this. Looks similar to you on site? We'll see if we can get Rebecca back as we're back out to live action on course. Group all back together, calming down again. They're all going to spread out here. This is the opportunity to get back into this group, and more importantly, get back up into the group. Kelly Brennan, we watched Chase
that's basically
back
what we saw. 2028. We have 2 photographers out on course. We're posting those photos on Instagram on some of our stories. So, so we're posting those on Instagram with some updates. But yes, we did see 2028 on the front there the last time. En para los seguidores en español estamos viendo, ya pasaron el primer línea de montañas y también el primer volante, y están en el segundo vuelta. Tenemos otra línea de montañas y también dos otras de volantes también. Y también hay unos segundos, bonus seconds que decimos en inglés, pero ya pasaron pasaron en el meta. Entonces, pues estamos esperando resultados de esas líneas. Cuando vamos a publicar en Instagram para que puedan saber quiénes están liderando la clasificación de los montaños y también los puntos. So a little quick update there, Brad, Spanish, but yep, it looks like I know a lot of the riders were worried about the wind, but really it's a beautiful day. There's hardly any movement for wind as far as that goes here on the finish line. So it looks like it's about the same from what we're hearing from our crew out on the road on the motos.
All right, just hit that 0K marker out there, which means they are starting their second and final country loop here. Again, there's one more QOM on the line in about 15K from now as they go across the top of this course and then drop back down to finish their second and final loop of racing. So they've got a little time here now. First lap in, we really just watched those two big teams come to the front and control with 2028 and Fount. We'll see if any new teams maybe show their face on the front, use the opportunity to shake the legs out a little bit, and then get a crew rolling up to the front here. Also been watching a lot of action at the back of the race. That seems to be where most of the action has been throughout the day as riders just try and get a feel and rhythm for the race. This is definitely the kind of day where there's two type of riders in this field. There's riders that are at the back because they want to be, and then there's riders that are at the back because they have to be. Earlier we saw that Aegis trio just kind of chilling at the back. Those are riders that were back there because they wanted to be. But as we were watching that speed block rider try and chase back on the run back into town, that's a good example of a rider who was at the back because she had to be. Now, Brennan was able to chase back on, but this is the opportunity to get back up into the middle of the field. That's going to be the safest place to be. At least give yourself a little opportunity to sag any climbs if you do start going backwards in the group. Much better to go backwards from the front than go even further backwards from the back. Looks like we're going to lose some picture here. We lost them earlier in the lap, so we'll see if we can get that back up as we continue to monitor UCI women about halfway through their race at Tour de Bloom.
Look at this field of Pro 1-2 ladies. This is the biggest and the best 1-2-3 field we've ever had. Thank you for traveling from all over to this race.
We have racers in this field from as far away as Sacramento, San Francisco. We have them from Montana. They are coming from all over the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest to race here at the Tour de Bloom. They're coming down the cobblestones of Orondo into the corner.
Picking up some live images here. I think we just saw an Aegis jersey, what must have been off the front of the race. This is our rear moto, so I'm guessing that Aegis rider that you saw was our front rider cam. See if I can get an ID on him and figure out who's taking a look off the front here. A little over halfway through this race. Aegis maybe going to try and open up a little more time than just the standard time bonuses on offer. Again, 6, 3, and 2 seconds for the winner of each lap. They just went through their first one. We're trying to get those intermediate results to you. And then there's also going to be time bonuses on offer at the finish here. Paul with the Aegis car. That would answer my question earlier about what we were looking at when we saw that solo Aegis rider. That was definitely just Aegis getting some food and water here. I think we're still all together at the front of the race. Getting ready for the left-hander coming up here. Should get them into the feed zone pretty quickly here. That'll be their last chance to feed. There's that plane flying overhead again. Not sure if that's the same plane, but we were watching a lot of small aircraft swooping over the group here. Wonder if there's an airport nearby. There's got to be. Sure enough, Waterville Airport, 2S5. See a few more nerves getting back into the group. The urgency to chase back up is much, much higher now. A lot of riders, once they got that taste of what it was going to be like when Virginia's Blue Ridge or Fount took over on the front, once you get burned by that once, that's not something you want to experience again. Intermediate sprint. We also have results in Marlies Mejias picking up maximum points there. No surprise, so that will put her into the points lead, but more importantly, give her a 6-second lead on GC on the road. She went to the line with Ariel Martin-Verhaeren, great sprinter for automatic racing. Verhaeren going to take second on that one, and then Kim Lucci picking up third. Not bad for a crit dog. The S&M CX mixed cycling team gets Lucci up there for third place, not only in the intermediate sprint here, but that'll also get 2 seconds taken off of Lucci's GC. So right now that puts Kim Lucci into third virtually. So Mejias, Verhaeren, and Lucci, your early competitors in both the intermediate sprint and the GC time bonus here. Those will be the three riders, I think, to keep their eye on. We will take a step back as we get live pictures back just as soon as we can.
There's our leader, 17 years old. What was your name?
Ben Ellenbach.
Ben Allenbaugh. How old are you?
18.
Okay, we had it wrong. He's 18. Sorry about that. We said he was 17. How many teammates did you have in the field tonight?
Absolutely none.
Thanks for coming out for Tour de Bloom. Dad bod!
Oh, yeah!
field tonight. It was fast. You guys were super smooth. You put on a heck of a good show. What was your idea and your process going into those last couple of laps?
I just wanted to get in good position and then ride the red truck train because I knew they had a lot of girls out there. So I just hopped on and did what I could.
You guys put on a heck of a show. You're the champion. You got the belt buckle. And we're so proud to have you here. Good luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
There's already a celebration going on. Zips up. Oh, stage 2. I got a belt buckle. Here we go, gentlemen. One lap, final lap.
Eats meal, and he just drove it so hard nobody can come around. So, but yeah, the boys just stayed off front the whole time and gave me a chance to rest. It was awesome.
You are our Saturday night crew. You guys come here and kick butt and put on a show every single year. We appreciate it. Congratulations and thanks for coming out to Tour de Bloom.
There's our photo. Come on, people, this is it. Final lap, final stretch. They come around the corner. No holds barred.
Look at this field of Pro 1-2 ladies. This is the biggest and the best 1-2-3 field we've ever had. Thank you for traveling from all over to this race.
We have racers in this field from as far away as Sacramento, San Francisco. We have them from Montana. They are coming from all over the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest to race here at the Tour de Bloom. They're coming down the cobblestones of Orondo into the corner.
Coming in hot.
Bumping, barging, and the last lap.
There's the sprint. There's our leader. 17 years old.
He can.
What was your name?
Ben Allenbach.
Ben Allenbach. How old are you?
18.
All right, picking up some live images from out on course. This is probably just some riders coming back from service here or on their way back to service. Doesn't look too difficult in terms of tempo out there. So riders just using the opportunity here to get ready for what should be a QOM coming up here pretty soon. Jen Wheeler picking up maximum points last time they hit that QOM. I would expect to see Fount making their way up to the front to try to protect Jen here. See if I can get an updated distance as well. Give me an idea of how close to that QOM they might be. Basically just a wide open square loop that they're doing right now. I'm trying to get some looks at road markers or any geography that might give me a sense of where they are on course. It's basically, this left-hand turn must be at the top of the course. So that would be on to Road 8 Northwest. we're going to lose them here as the picture starts to break up a little bit. A lot of respect to these riders at the back of the group. They are doing the work today, that's for sure. Going back to get bottles, chasing back up. Whether you're there, as I said earlier, because you want to be or because you have to be, it's still a hard day at the office. All right, I think we're going to lose them through the valley there. We'll keep an eye on it and bring you back live images when they become available.
In this field from as far away as Sacramento, San Francisco. We have them from Montana. They are coming from all over the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest to race here at the Tour de Bloom. We're coming down. Bumping, barging. And the preem last lap.
There's the sprint. There's our leader. 17 years old. What was your name?
Ben Allenbach.
Ben Allenbach. How old are you?
18.
Okay, we had it wrong. He's 18. Sorry about that. We said he was 17. How many teammates did you have in the field tonight?
Absolutely none.
Thanks for coming out for Tour de Bloom.
Oh, yeah! None other than Vincent Marcotte.
The field tonight, it was fast. You guys were super smooth. You put on a heck of a good show. What was your idea and your process going into those last couple of laps?
I just wanted to get in good position and then ride the red truck train because I knew they had a lot of girls out there. So I just hopped on and did what I could.
You guys put on a heck of a show. You're the champion. You got the belt buckle, and we're so proud to have you here. Good luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Here's already a celebration going on. Zips up. Oh, stage 2. I got a belt buckle.
Back with the front of the peloton here. Group still all together. Not quite close enough to see any team jerseys here yet, but does look like there's a little charge starting to form up there. Again, have to assume this is in anticipation of the upcoming QOMs. Super impressive to see Wheeler picking up maximum points earlier on that QOM, a part owner of that Fount team, also a coach of a lot of the Fount riders, and clearly a strong rider in her own right. But she has been shepherding the next wave of Fount stars through, including Aaliyah Shafi, who's had a standout year this year. I'm looking to add more. Wheeler, one of those riders who came to the sport late, a former collegiate runner, turned bike commuter, turned bike racer. That Fount team largely about people similar to Wheeler's story, kind of a Joe to pro story. They find a lot of high-level athletes from other sports and figure out how they can adapt those skills to make them good bike racers. It'd be interesting to see how Fount plays it this week with Wheeler picking up these first QOM points, whether she's going to be their GC rider or if they bring someone like Aaliyah Shafi in for that later on in the week. Didn't pick up any time bonuses. I'm not sure if they went for them or not. We didn't get a great look at the intermediate sprint as they came through the line, but did get our top three results in. Fount nowhere to be found. So we'll see if they're back up at the finish. Aaliyah Shafi, not a great sprinter. She's a good sprinter. They may send some riders up there just to try and sweep those and take them from someone else. Still pretty calm at the back here. I don't think anyone has been dropped out of this group. I believe this is pretty much our original makeup of the field here. This looks like a bunch of orange jerseys. Could this be automatic, maybe? Either way, it's causing some panic back in the group. A lot of riders trying to move up right now. Whoever this is clearly has a plan, and they're executing it now. Putting a lot of teams on notice, starting to motion to each other here. Are they looking for help? Here's the tempo picking up at the back of the group. Trying to get a look up front there and see if I can ID either some teams or riders up there. But I'm not seeing it yet. I think we are going to lose them here. So one team setting tempo up on the front, trying to take charge here as they work their way towards the first QOM.
Ladies, this is the biggest and the best 1, 2, 3 field we've ever had. Thank you for traveling from all over to this race.
We have racers in this field from as far away as Sacramento, San Francisco. We have them from Montana. They are coming from all over the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest to race here at the Tour de Bloom. We're coming down the cobblestones of Orondo into the corner, coming in hot, bumping, barging, and the pre-lap.
There's the sprint. There's our leader, 17 years old. What was your name? Ben Allenbaugh. How old are you?
18.
Okay, we had it wrong. He's 18. Sorry about that. We said he was 17. How many teammates did you have in the field tonight?
Absolutely none.
Thanks for coming out for Tour de Bloom. The field tonight, it was fast. You guys were super smooth. You put on a heck of a good show. What was your idea and your process going into those last couple of laps?
I just wanted to get in good position and then ride the red truck train because I knew they had a lot of girls out there. So I just hopped on and did what I could.
You guys put on a heck of a show. You're the champion. You got the belt buckle. And we're so proud to have you here. Good luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
There's already a celebration going on. Zips up. Oh, stage 2.
Here we go, gentlemen. One lap, final lap.
Huge deal, and he just drove it so hard nobody can come around. So, but yeah, the boys just stayed out front the whole time and gave me a chance to rest. It's awesome.
You are our Saturday night crew. You guys come here and kick butt and put on a show every single year. We appreciate it. Congratulations and thanks for coming out to Tour de Bloom.
Come on, people, this is it. Final lap, final stretch. They come around the corner. No holds barred.
Look at this field of Pro 1-2 ladies. This is the biggest and the best 1, 2, 3 field we've ever had. Thank you for traveling from all over to this race.
We have racers in this field from as far away as Sacramento, San Francisco. We have them from Montana. They are coming from all over the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest to race here at the Tour de Bloom. They're coming down the cobblestones of Orondo into the corner, coming in hot, bumping, barging, and the pre-lap.
There's the sprint. There's our leader, 17 years old. What was your name? Van Allenbaugh. How old are you?
18.
Okay, we had it wrong. He's 18. Sorry about that. We said he was 17. How many teammates did you have in the field tonight?
Absolutely none.
Thanks for coming out for Tour de Bloom.
Yeah, buddy.
Catbot!
Oh, yeah! None other than Vincent Marcotte.
The field tonight, it was fast. You guys were super smooth. You put on a heck of a good show. What was your idea and your process going into those last couple of laps?
I just wanted to get in good position and then ride the red truck train because I knew they had a lot of girls out there. So I just hopped on and did what I could.
You guys.
Looks like we are back with some live images. This must be the approach to the QOM. I am anxiously watching here for an idea of this rider. It looks like a Fount jersey jumping off the front here. Remember, Wheeler picked up maximum points last time through. This is the points-based Queen of the Mountain competition where they receive intermediate points along the route at the top of some of the hardest climbs of the race. Because this race is a circuit, they're doing the same climb twice, and Jen Wheeler picked up maximum points first time up and over. I think this is her again. I do see the green jersey of what I think is Fount here. Somebody trying to chase her. Going to leave the field here. But looks like we can go ahead and confirm Fount. Going to be first to leave the group. Let's see who's going with her. A lot of looking back over the shoulder here. I think this is maybe Elizabeth Dixon. Trying to get a read on the number here. They're reporting it might be Minori Minagawa here. All right, so Minagawa going to roll away, try and pick up points in substitution of Jen Wheeler. This will be Florence Howden going with her for the United Cycling, presented by Cadence Cyclery Team. So Minagawa and Howden, you're two away. They're going to have a quick discussion here, figure out if they should be working together or not. Howden going to go right to work on top of Minagawa here. And looks like they got an agreement worked out here between the two. Not much time between them. So they did go through that QOM. Must have missed it on the live pictures there. And they're saying Jen Wheeler going to pick up maximum points again. So that must have been well before we picked up the live images here, because at that point Minagawa was already away. So that must have happened when we were out of cell phone range. So Wheeler being reported for maximum points on the second and final QOM. Lauren Stevens goes over second, wearing number 21. So we didn't see any of that. That must have been, earlier before we picked them up. So Fount's having a great day so far. I think that's going to be enough to get Wheeler into the QOM jersey outright. Now Minoru Minagawa going to take a look at a stage result here, or maybe try and stay away for some GC time. Minagawa, another one of those fount riders that's had a really good last few weeks, including some podiums out at Gila, so she's on fire heading into this one. Looks like this aggressive style really going to suit her. Shafi really shined on the big climbing days. Obviously had a really good time trial on her as well. Minagawa really seems to shine in these chaotic days when she can use some tactics to her advantage. There's Kelly Brennan fighting back in again. She's been spending a lot of time at the back of this race all day. Again, tough place to be, but if that's where you're most comfortable, I guess that's the best place to ride. Brennan wearing number 94 on her back. We saw her doing this dance earlier in the day. Not looking super chaotic in this group. They seem to have calmed down at the back. Not sure if they're just not worried about these two off the front or if they've come back in. Minagawa started it. Got some help from Florence Howden. And I think that move has been shut down. Looks like this is the front of the race all back together here. So the short-lived Minagawa-Howden breakaway hits the reset button. Gives us to take a little bit of scenery in here from our lead moto. As they go back up and over, keeping an eye on things at the back. I think we can bring Rebecca Riza back in, who is on site, been monitoring this race, keeping an eye on things out there. Rebecca, anything new for you out there right now?
Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, we are here at the finish. The wind is picking up just a little bit, so there's a bit of a tailwind coming into the finish. So that should make the sprint interesting. But yes, they're about 10 miles, a little bit less than 10 miles to the finish. So we just got the second KOM point, so that'll make it, I guess, for Jennifer Wheeler, right? You said, Brad?
Yeah, Wheeler won the first one, and I think that should be good to lock her in with the second one as well.
All right, so para los seguidores en español, estamos esperando, ya tienen casi 47 millas recorrido, menos de 10 millas hasta la meta. Ya tenemos los dos resultados intermedios para las montañas. Jennifer Wheeler, de Fount Cycling, un equipo que empezó aquí en el estado de Washington, logré el primer lugar en los dos intermedios montañas, líneas de montañas. Entonces esperamos que ella va a tener el primer camiseta de las montañas en esta primera etapa en Waterville. Los sprints, nomás tenemos el primer sprint y también los segundos, bonus segundos. Para el primer línea de volante tenían 6 segundos, 4 segundos y 2 segundos para los primeros 3. Entonces tenemos Mejías de Cuba de 2028 que logré el primer sprint y también esos 6 segundos. Entonces vamos a ver porque expectamos que ella va a salir muy bien en la final. No sé si, pues, creemos que van a llegar en un grupo, ¿no? Porque no hay una fuga con 2 corredores ¿Cuánto es la ventaja? Pues estamos esperando a escuchar y confirmar eso. Pero eso, hay dos corredores, uno de ¿cuál equipo? Pues vamos a ver, pero esperamos la ventaja, pero sí, vamos a ver qué pasa en estas finales 10 millas hasta la meta. So just a quick update, Brad, but yes, we're trying to get an update on the gap, see if those two riders are still out in front.
It looks like they have been brought back, at least from our camera view here. Heard you talking about some of the time bonuses as well. Looking like that's going to be the decider for the GC here. The way that they're racing this one, I don't really know if I see any big gaps forming and staying away all the way to the finish, especially with that tailwind. They should be able to chase down anyone that gets away pretty quickly. So I'd be surprised to see any big GC gaps. It's looking like those time bonuses are going to determine our first overall leader, and that puts Marleas Mejias and the Virginia's Blue Ridge 2028 squad in a very good position headed into this one. Your virtual leader on the road right now. That means if they stop this race as is, Mejias would be the overall leader because she's going to get that 6-second time bonus for winning lap number 1. And you got to think that that gives that team some confidence. If they can do it once, they can do it again with Marleas. All right, so it looks like they are just completing this country loop right now. They should be on the southern return right now. If it's a tailwind right now, that means it's going to be a headwind coming back through the town loop. If you go on the Tour de Bloom website, you can see the course map for this one. You'll see what I'm talking about. But basically a southbound return to get back to town, but then they go through that town loop, and it's a northbound re-return back into town. So if it's tailwind now, that means they're going to be looking at a direct headwind on the last couple mile run back into the finish. We'll see if those winds change or stay as they are, but that could have a major impact on the way this race plays out. What I'm really thinking about is whether a breakaway would be able to make it. If you can make a late race jump at like 7 or 8 miles to go and try and stay away to the line. Problem with that is I think you're going to be looking at a headwind for the last 2 or 3 miles on the way in, which is about worst case scenario for a small group to try to make it.
You know, Brad, we're also looking at temperatures in the upper 60s right now. So in regards to that, it's a really beautiful day here at the finish, even though they might be suffering a little bit in that headwind out there.
Certainly got some nice scenery to take in while they're at it. Shape of this race starting to change now as they go single file up on the front. It is starting to heat up here. Battle is on for position. We're starting to see some big teams get to the front to start to lift this tempo. To be expected inside the last 10 or so miles of racing, this is the major team starting to get up there and set things up for what is looking more and more to be a field sprint, especially seeing the way that now big teams are going to start to control here and keep this tempo high. That is going to make it even more difficult for teams to get away. So see a couple from Red Truck up here. You got a couple from Virginia's Blue Ridge 2024. 3 Fount jerseys represented. This is going to be automatic all over the front here. They had a good ride for Ariel Verhaeren earlier. Got to think they'll be back looking for number 141. Martin Verhaeren picked up second on that earlier intermediate sprint, and looks like they're going to try and set her up for more time bonuses here. So that's really the game being played out there right now, Rebecca. It is a race for time bonuses to determine the overall leader headed into the criterium tomorrow.
I spoke with the girls from Automatic yesterday. They had just arrived from Athens, saying how much they wanted to tackle a stage race. And just because of the way the calendar is set up and the way their team objectives were, they came straight from Athens Twilight. So they said, you know, Rebecca, I don't know what we're going to have legs for this week, but we're going to try and animate the race and see what can happen.
Verhaeren, the former BMX Olympian, picked up bronze medal at the World Championships in 2009, former gold medal at the Supercross World Cup. But focusing on road and criterium racing for the last few years, and boy, has she made an impact. I have a feeling this automatic team going to be punching well above their weight over the next couple days, or I should say for the rest of the week here at Tour de Bloom. So this is the completion of the country loop right now. They're back into town, you see, but they're going to leave town, head south down to like a 4 or 5 mile town loop, and then come back in for the finish here. So they have just deviated off of the main road, and then it's basically 3 left-hand turns, and then the northbound run back up to the finish. So we're getting down to it.
So, para los seguidores en español, disculpe, estoy aquí en la meta y estamos viendo que tenemos un viento a favor para la meta, pero ahorita en curso tienen un viento que está apagando enfrente. Entonces, vamos a ver si esta fuga va a llegar a la meta. Yo creo que no. El equipo 2028 está trabajando muy duro, y también vimos el equipo Automatic Racing que llegaron directamente de un circuito en Atlanta, pues en Georgia, que se llama Athens Twilight, una carrera muy famosa en los estados, de un circuito. Mucha gente viene a ver esta carrera. Entonces este equipo está enfocado en los circuitos, pero estaba diciendo que querían correr carrera de etapas. Entonces estaban diciendo que quieren ver qué pueden hacer cada etapa, si puede atacar o dar por puntos o no sé qué, pero es bueno para verlos enfrente del grupo enseguida. Pero estoy esperando para la ventaja. No sabemos la ventaja en este momento, pero siguen enfrente y vamos a ver. Estamos cerca de 5 millas hasta la meta. So, Brad, we have about 5 miles left to the finish, is what we're hearing from the motos out on the caravan there, bringing us these pictures. I wanted to thank the group from Duro a Pedal from Guatemala that are here to help bring these pictures, these live pictures, to racing fans that are following us today. It's something we've been trying to do for many years, as you know, for these stage races, to bring this live racing to the masses.
All right, back out to live images. This will be the left-hand turn I was talking about earlier onto the town loop. Looks like Automatic still in charge up at the front, but starting to see more jerseys coming forward here. Again, got to think they're riding in support of Ariel Verhaeren here. Verhaeren, a great sprinter. She could certainly go to the line with a lot of riders in here. This will be a good chance to get this field spread out and give us a look up and down the group. Not going to be a ton of action at the back of this one. Juicy stuff is happening at the front of this bike race right now. They're going to go full single file here. So I'm thinking this is most likely the headwind section here, which would explain the single file riding, which means they're going to be in for a tailwind on the way back in. That would be good news for a breakaway if someone wanted to try to jump late here. But I think they're setting a fast enough tempo up at the front that anyone that tries to get away is going to have some trouble. A lot of team leaders hanging out at the back here. Just saw Anna Dorovsky, number 81. Sounds like Rebecca is going to head out to the finish, see if she can grab some riders. So you're going to be stuck with me for the remainder of this one. Big gap starting to open up here. This could be a big problem for a lot of riders. See, again, not the time to be hanging out at the back unless you can cover these gaps easily without too much effort. You're going to see a lot of riders start to pay the price here, especially as that tempo picks up. Almost fully single file here. Again, we'll see if we can get our moto up near the front. See some Aegis jerseys back here. That's Frankie Hall, number 22. She's not going to be super worried about this. We did see Lauren Stevens go up earlier for QOM points. Cool little spectator on the side of the course there. Looks like we scared the poor guy off. See how quickly Catherine Sheridan gets back into the group. Aegis jersey closing that one down quickly. Back to spread out across the road here. Ooh, still some riders fighting to get back up. It's Haley Wickstrom coming back. Orion rider trying to fight her way back into that slipstream. This is going to be somewhere between like 6 and 7 miles to go right now. I think we don't have any live data here, but I'm working off of the course map here and trying to use some landmarks to get you an idea of where they are. They're well off the timetable, working ahead of the fastest time in the tech guide here. And you can see why. Brutal tempo being set all day. There's not been an easy ride back into the group for a while. A lot of fighting back here for these riders just to stay in. I think we must have lost the moto at the front. Haven't seen front of this field for a while. Inside 5 miles to the finish now. So I think they'll have just one more left-hander, and that'll take them into the final run to the line here. This would be the time to start reporting to the front. If you're going to have any say in the way that this finale goes, you got to be fighting your way up to the front right now. So this is where I'd start looking at riders jumping out to the left side. I do see a little bit of separation up at the top of the race. And now they're saying this is actually 5K. So that would put them on the final approach into the finish here inside 5 kilometers to go. I think this will be your look at the final run into the finish. I think we sent our lead moto up ahead to try to grab this finish from head on. A little bit of an uphill drag there. You see a little downhill run and then about 300 meters of uphill kick. Getting some information from out on course that there is a small break on the front. Sounds like Alexi Snover taking a little look. They're reporting 5 seconds over race radio here for Fount Cycling's Alexi Snover on the front. No surprise, Snover going to be looking for GC time here. But that is a dangerous rider to let go. I would have to think that Virginia's Blue Ridge 2024 going to go on notice and get a little train going. I think that must be Snover just going off to the top left-hand side of your picture here. It's going to be a little less than 5 seconds. Just dangling there. Snover going to be counting on some chaos in this group. She's counting on the inability of these other teams to get their acts together and chase her down. I think she wants to try and catch this group off guard and try and pick up some bonus seconds on the way in. Again, time bonus for winning the stage here. But Snover looking like she wants a little more than that 6 seconds. Just hit the 3K marker. Snover off the front. But not by much. That is her right there. You can just see her at the top of the screen here. One trying to chase back up the right side, trying to bridge the gap here. Not going well, though. Want to close that gap as quickly as possible. No one able to get up to Snover here. This is not the rider that you want to call a shot on. Alexi Snover can absolutely do this. Not the time to underestimate a rider like Snover after her performances so far this year. If this one stays at 5 seconds, I would think that names like Mejias and Stevens would be happy with that, believing that they can shut this down before they get to the line and go head-to-head. I guess you'd rather have a tired Alexi Snover that you just chased back rather than having to deal with the chaos of the sprint. That's Snover right there wearing 53. So maybe they were reporting Snover off the back. All right, so I guess this one's going to be all together at the front. And there you go. Here's your look at the run into the finish. Group all together here. They're going to set up what will turn into a field sprint to the line here. Remember, Fount had control of a lot of this early on. We'll look for Virginia's Blue Ridge. They should make their way forward. Riders getting blown out to the side of this course. They're going to use a full width of this pavement. See if maybe Verhaeren gets into the mix as well. She went for some intermediate points earlier. Here comes Fount. That's going to be your early lead. I think Fount's got the first two here. And they'll hit the line together. I see Aegis in the mix. Aegis with a hand in the air. I got to assume that's Lauren Stevens. And that would be no surprise here. Stevens coming off a win at the Tour of the Gila last week. Just barely caught the finish in the corner, but I'll go ahead and say Lauren Stevens for a stage win here. We'll get confirmation on the ground. But certainly looked like an Aegis jersey with a hand in the air to me. Did see Fount up there. We saw Virginia's Blue Ridge 2024 into the mix. I have to assume that would have been Mejias and maybe Wheeler. I don't think it would have been Snover. Must have been Shafi. See if Race Radio reports anything here and get those out to you as quickly as we can. But I'll say unofficial preliminary results going to put Lauren Stevens on the top step of the podium. Looks like Rebecca going to try and chase down those riders to see if we can grab a word with them. We get ready for our men's race coming up after this. We're going to try and stick around for UCI Women's Podium, give them priority, and then we'll pick up our UCI men as they become available. Looks like a gathering of what I think are Aegis jerseys up here. I think that's what Rebecca's walking towards. Again, can't speak enough about how impressive this team was last week at Tour of the Gila, guiding Lauren Stevens to her overall victory. We also saw Frankie Hall get a stage win on the last day where she took Stevens off the front together. They finished 1 and 2 to lock in her overall lead. All right, let's see if we can get Rebecca on here.
Can you hear me? Okay. We're here with Stage 1 winner, Lauren Stevens. Lauren, you've just been blowing the field away with every event that you come out. You seem to be ageless in this sport. We saw you at Gila just winning your second consecutive title. You arrived here at Bloom. How was it out there?
Oh, it was amazing. Sprints are not my specialty, but unfortunately our sprinter came down with food poisoning yesterday, so I had to step up, and I'm really happy that I could do this for her and keep the win for the team.
We were talking yesterday about how important this race is to the women cycling and the continued development and building of that, what this means to win this first stage here and the first time this is UCI.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm here with my team, Aegis Cycling Foundation. We're a new team, and at this race, we're just a composite team, but we're looking forward to becoming a full-time team, so look out for us.
Are you looking to any other stage in particular? I know we spoke yesterday about that final day.
Yeah, the team today was actually really focused on recovery. We just came from Tour of the Gila, and the final stage is going to be the stage for this team.
Congratulations on another fantastic win.
Thank you.
All right, so that's Lauren Stevens proving yet again that age is nothing but a number. She wins the sprint. We're getting confirmation. We believe it was ahead of Aaliyah Shafi from Fount and Marlise Mejias from 2028. We'll get confirmation on that. But we're going to go find Fount. We want to talk to Jennifer Wheeler as well as Aaliyah, if that's the case that she did indeed get second. And so we'll go ahead and bring those interviews. But back to you, Brad.
Just had confirmation roll in from Race Radio here. We are going to lock in Lauren Stevens for the stage win. It will be Aaliyah Shafi in second and Marlise Mejias confirmed for third on the day. They're reporting a tie in the Queen of the Mountain competition between Jen Wheeler, number 51, and Paula Echevarria, number 192. So I think that QOM tiebreaker goes to GC result, GC time. Officials going to sort through that. Days like today, I'm thankful I don't have to wear a blue shirt out there. So we'll go Stevens, Shafi, and Mejias 1, 2, and 3 on the stage. We'll sort out our QOM tiebreaker and then talk about sprint points as well. Great efforts by Fount today. Again, we talked about sort of fighting this war on two different fronts, sending Jen Wheeler out to try and pick up those QOM points and then seeing if they can get Aaliyah Shafi up to the front for the finish. Shafi going to stay within striking distance on the GC here. Finishing second on the day. No time gaps on the line, so it'll be just the time bonuses. And looks like Rebecca has Aaliyah Shafi right now. We'll listen in for that.
All right, Brad, we're here with Aaliyah Shafi, who got second on this stage. Her team did a lot of work today. Of course, we're looking at Jennifer Wheeler in the first QM jersey this week. Aaliyah, you finished second behind Lauren at the Levi Gran Fondo. You had a bit of a break. You skipped Gila, but you're here at the Tour de Bloom. Talk about that first stage and that win and the finish.
That was awesome. It was really fast. I think our team notoriously struggles with a big pack finish, so we're really happy to get a podium. And it's so awesome to come to a race near my hometown. I'm from Oregon, or living in Oregon and then lived in Seattle, so it's awesome to have Tour de Plume right here. So.
Is it talk about having your family here? We see your dad here supporting and cheering you on. And the lead into Bloom. I mean, after winning Redlands, coming into here, going to Levi's, and talk about this incredible spring start to the season for you.
Yeah, I mean, our team was really focused on Redlands, and we executed that. So we got a lot of confidence from that, and just coming into Bloom feeling good. So.
Was it the plan to go for those QM points, and then because we know it's going to be a battle of the GC between for you guys along with 2028 and Aegis. Was that the plan to go for the QM points or whatever wherever it landed out on the road?
It actually wasn't the plan, but sometimes the race makes the plan for you. So, I mean, Jennifer saw the opportunity and she took it. So.
Tomorrow you got the evening crit, a long morning to kind of recover.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. I love Wenatchee, and I've been to a fun little live event there before, so I'm excited to see the crowds.
Well, awesome, great ride today, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that's Aaliyah Shafi, our title winner at the Redlands Bicycle Classic earlier this spring. She took the time off from Tour de Gila, although her team was very competitive there. We're going to go over here to Jennifer Wheeler. Jennifer. What she got, we still waiting on confirmation, but we definitely believe that she's going to be in the lead of the QM. Jennifer, we talked to you at the start of the race. I'm sorry we're pulling you away from this photo, but talk about the work your team did to get you those QM points and landing the first jersey this week.
Well, I think the first time it was just nobody was going for it, so I just went after it. And then after you put in the first effort, everybody can do it once, you got to do it twice. And Aaliyah led me out for the second one, and then once we grabbed that, it was time to focus on the finish.
What is it like racing against Lauren Stevens? I mean, she comes, you raced against her earlier, having her come back, winning a Gila. Now she surprises everybody with a sprint. It's a good competition here in Bloom this week for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I really respect Lauren Stevens. She's been in it a long time. She's really sneaky. She's really fast, but she's a really good sport. So it's going to be fun trying to duke it out with her and a great team and see what we can do.
Great job today. We'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow in the crit.
Thank you.
All right, Jennifer Wheeler, so she'll be our first leader in the QOM. We'll get confirmation for that and the points ahead of tomorrow. We're going to go to the men after this, after their podium here. The men start at 1:15. We'll get that live pictures for you as soon as we finish with the podium for the women. And we'll bring you more updates, more videos, more interviews. We spoke with Marlise Mejias at the beginning of the stage, as well as Jennifer. We'll get those in the recap. So we'll have those highlights later for you today. But a great race, a great first day here in Waterville. The wind holding off, but I'm not so sure the men are going to be so lucky. So we'll see what happens.
Well, things about to get a whole lot more interesting here at Tour de Bloom as this week continues. We got a nice GC setup heading into the Criterium tomorrow. Not expecting some big changes there. That'll give the GC riders a little time to relax. Although, seeing the way they race for these time bonuses today, we might be watching names like Aaliyah Shafi going for some bonuses in the Criterium here. Hugs all around after a tough day at the office for a lot of riders. So we'll get ready for the UCI Women's Podium coming up. We do know Jen Wheeler will be a confirmed QOM leader. I am 99% sure that Leah Shafi will be our first GC leader of the day. Certainly going to be the stage winner. And then we'll figure out sprint points and best young rider as well coming up. Welcome back. Live images of your UCI women's podium. These are stage results going out right now. Looks like Marleis Mejia is going to take her third spot on the podium. They'll put Leah Shafi up for second. Maybe. All right, I guess we're missing some podium finishers here. Marleis Mejia is third on the day, Leah Shafi in second, and confirming Lauren Stevens your stage winner. There we go. There's Shafi. And there's Stevens. All right, got a full podium. Looks like they are going to leave Lauren up there as the sprint leader here. Going to put the green jersey on her. Should be seeing Jen Wheeler for a QOM jersey soon. Got to make sure they get the order right on the podium. So there's Stevens taking the first jersey of the 2025 Tour de Bloom. So that is your points leader in the green jersey competition. We'll look at the Mountains jersey, the best young jersey. And I would assume Steven's going to be in our GC jersey as well. This will be Wheeler into polka dots. Now, she took the opportunity, as you heard her talk with Rebecca about in her interview. First time, saw the chance. Second time, had to follow up. Got maximum points and put her into the polka dot jersey. Headed into stage 2 tomorrow. It'll be a downtown criterium, so she should be fine to hold on to that. At least through stage 2 and into stage 3. This will be your best young riders jersey on the back of Lily Sonneman for the CCB Levine Law Group team. Not sure where she ended up overall, but that'll be your best place GC rider under the age of 23. So that should just leave us with the pink jersey for your overall GC leader. And there you go, Lauren Stevens, stage winner and Tour de Bloom leader after day 1. Going to start day 2 with a 2-second time bonus. There we go. They're going to put them all up there together. So those are your jerseys after stage 1. Lauren Stevens leads GC and Sprint. Jen Wheeler in polka dots and Lily Sonneman, your white jersey leader. All All right, that will wrap up our UCI women's coverage. We're going to see if Rebecca can grab any more interviews with riders as they file away, and we'll get ready for our UCI men's coverage coming up in a little over an hour from now.
Hello, can you hear me? All right. Estamos aquí con el tercer lugar. Marlise Mejía, su equipo trabaja muy fuerte. Vimos en el frente del grupo cómo le fue, cómo le sientes después de esta primera etapa.
Salió bien, esperábamos ganar hoy, pero no se pudo, pero lo intentaremos mañana nuevamente.
¿Cómo era corriendo ese primer día contra estos equipos, Lauren Stevens y también con Fount? ¿Qué son sus objetivos en esta semana?
No, nosotros siempre pensamos en ganar, lo vamos a intentar cada día y vamos a ir pensando día tras día.
Y mañana otra oportunidad en el Criterium, que es algo de muy favorito para usted.
Sí, es nuestra carrera favorita, eso mañana vamos a intentarlo.
Pues mucha suerte para mañana, gracias.
Gracias.
All right, so ahí estamos hablando con Marlise Mejías, logré el tercer lugar para su equipo, para la general. Esperamos que son las ventajas en la general, porque pues mañana hay otra oportunidad. Marlise, logré también el primer sprint volante intermedio que llevaste 6 segundos por la general, entonces vamos a ver, pero muy cerca los primeras 3, mañana el Criterium, pero ahorita vamos a dar un poco break y luego vamos a regresar con los hombres que empiezan casi 2 horas de ahorita, a las 1:15. So, ahorita regresamos. Gracias por todos para seguirnos y nos vemos muy pronto. Brad, back to you. Thank you so much.
Look at this field of Pro 1-2 ladies. This is the biggest and the best 1-2-3 field we've ever had. Thank you for traveling from all over to this race.
We have racers in this field from